It was a fog-choked morning in the hills of Oregon when Ranger froze. His paw hovered mid-step over the mossy earth, ears twitching, eyes locked onto something half-buried in the clearing ahead. Detective Mark Callahan, just a few steps behind, knew that look. He'd seen it 100 times in training and field ops, alert, focused, unwavering. Something was there. And in that heartbeat of silence, with only the hush of early dawn wind and the distant cry of a hawk overhead, the past slammed back into the present with a force Mark hadn't expected. The backpack was old, faded, partially covered in dirt and pine needles. But to Mark, it was instantly familiar. He dropped to his knees, flashlight trembling in his grip, as his throat tightened and his heart pounded like a war drum. 7 years. 7 long, torturous years. And now, this. A missing piece. A beginning of an end. If you believe in kindness, second chances, or the unbreakable loyalty of animals, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel Justice on Paws. Your support helps us tell stories that matter, stories that heal. Mark Callahan was never supposed to be in that forest. He was 6 months away from early retirement, haunted by failures and losses that piled up like cold case files on a dusty shelf. But when the department's new K-9 unit needed a seasoned handler for one final round of wilderness training, his old instincts kicked in. Ranger, a 5-year-old German shepherd with striking amber eyes and a gentle soul, had recently been reassigned after his former partner died in the line of duty. 2 broken souls, man and dog, thrown together by chance and circumstance. Neither expected to bond. Neither wanted to. But somehow, over weeks of shared silence, training sessions, and long walks under grey skies, something changed. Mark started opening up, telling stories he hadn't voiced in years. And Ranger listened, in that way only dogs can, offering no judgment, only presence. They became each other's refuge. The case that haunted Mark most was that of Lily Harper, a 14-year-old girl who vanished without a trace on her way home from school. Her backpack was never found. Her phone last pinged somewhere along a hiking trail near the North Woods. The town searched for weeks. Volunteers combed the forests. Her parents never gave up. But Mark had. Or at least, he thought he had. He'd tucked her file away deep in his mind, a scar that wouldn't heal, a reminder of a time when his best wasn't good enough. That morning, something compelled him to take the long route with Ranger, off the regular training grid, toward a remote section of the forest that had always felt off-limits. And that's where Ranger stopped. At first, Mark thought it was just a squirrel or the scent of another animal. But Ranger didn't bark or chase. He stood still, nose low to the ground, tail stiff, eyes darting toward a mound of disturbed earth. Mark brushed away leaves, fingers numb with disbelief. The zipper, rusted and broken. The strap with the tiny unicorn charm. And inside, half buried beneath layers of soil and sorrow, was Lily's school ID. Mark stumbled back, nearly dropping the flashlight. His hands shook uncontrollably. It felt like the air had been sucked from the world. He called it in immediately, voice barely steady. Forensics confirmed it hours later, it was her backpack. DNA matched. But more than that, they found something else nearby. A set of bones. Human remains. Torn fabric. A broken chain with the name Lily etched into the pendant. The mystery that had tortured her family and the town for nearly a decade was no longer a question mark. There were answers now. And they started with Ranger. The investigation reopened with fresh eyes. A cold case reignited with new evidence, new leads, and, most importantly, new hope. A man who had been a person of interest early on, dismissed for lack of evidence, was now under arrest. A former groundskeeper who worked in the nearby cabins. His DNA, found on the zipper of the bag. Enough to bring justice, at long last, to a family who had waited too long. At the press conference, Lily's mother held Mark's hand, tears streaming down her face, as she bent down to pet Ranger. "He brought her home," she whispered. "He brought my baby home." In the weeks that followed, something changed in Mark. The weight he'd carried for years began to lift, slowly, with every small moment of healing. He visited Lily's memorial. He sat with her parents in their garden, talking for hours. He and Ranger were no longer just a team, they were heroes in the eyes of a grieving town. Offers came in from news stations, podcasts, book publishers. But Mark turned them down. All he wanted was peace. And more time with the dog who gave it back to him. They say every once in a while, a dog enters your life and changes everything. For Mark, that dog was Ranger. Not just a K9 partner. Not just a piece of official gear or a line on a badge. He was the soul who led him back to purpose, to forgiveness, to redemption. He didn't just solve a mystery, he mended a man's broken heart. If this story touched your heart, please like this video, leave a comment about your favorite moment, and share it with someone who believes in second chances. Subscribe to Justice on Paws to keep these powerful stories alive. Together, we honor the loyalty of animals and the courage of those who never stop searching. And so, as the sun sets over the Oregon forest, golden light breaking through the trees, a man and his dog walk the trail where a long-lost girl was finally found. No words are spoken. None are needed. Just the quiet crunch of leaves beneath their feet, and the knowing look between a handler and his best friend, two lives forever changed by a moment in the woods, and the truth they uncovered together.